So I'm going to draw my cat's eye. I've got my sketchbook and I'm going to do it quite big. So very, very lightly, I'm going to make a nice curve. And then I'm going to make a shorter curve underneath it. Okay. And then I'm going to make a squash lemon shape in the centre. And I'm going to leave a couple of little marks there. So you're going to use your watercolour paints to paint the eye. And you've got block colour water paints, which means that when you use them, you need to put some water on your brush. And then you need to rub really hard into your paints. Now, I haven't got block ones, I've got some tube ones, and actually I'm going to have to be creative with them because I've discovered that a lot of them have actually run out. So, I'm going to start with my lightest colour, and I'm using the brush and I'm holding it really close down at the bottom, sort of where this metal bit meets the wood, because I want to use it on the tip. Now, the more water you put on your brush, the runnier your paint will be and the lighter it will be. I'm trying to get a fair bit of colour on my brush, so I'm putting some water on it to make it flow. But then what I want to do is get a fair bit of decent colour on it, so I don't want too much water. So I'm starting with some yellow at the edge of where the pupil will be, the pupil being the bit of the eye that is the hole that gets bigger and smaller. I want that to be quite a light area, which is why I'm using a little bit of yellow. And then I'm going to use a bit of light green. And again, I'll put a bit of water on, but not too much. So I'm going to put light green next. But what I don't want is that stripe. So what I need to do is kind of clean my brush, dab it on a paper towel, and then I'm just going to wipe off some of that green where it meets the yellow, and then let it blend over the top a little bit, so that what happens is the two things blend a bit more, or render, if you like that word, render, one flowing into the other one gradually. So I'm not painting, I'm pretty much rubbing it off with a clean, wet, damp brush. And then when the brush gets dirty with the green, I'm allowing it to spread into the yellow. And that is giving me a nice transition from the light to the dark, because I want to be doing a green eye really. I just want it to look as though it's getting gradually darker. Then I'm going to get my darker green, and I can put that bit right at the edges. I've got a bit too much paint on there. I need to just water that down a little bit. Again, being very careful, because too much water and it could run all over the place. And notice you need to work quite quickly so it doesn't dry before you've had a time to blend it together. So again, I can just get a clean damp brush and push that colour back a little bit. And because it's stronger, I might have to clean my brush a few times so that it gets a lot darker at the edges. Now, if you want it even darker, you could get a little bit of blue and put that right at the edges, and that will make it a really deep turquoisey colour. My blues run out, but I'll just put a little bit darker there, and it's the same deal, just pop that in. Okay, so only now am I ready to do the black. Okay, so I'm putting the black on last. And I've got to be, again, very careful. I do not use too much water here. We know that with all the eyes, because they're wet and glassy, there's a little window of reflection. So I'm leaving these little white marks. I'm not painting those in. And notice again, because when I get to the edges, I really don't press very hard on the brush at all. I'm kind of tickling the page so that there's no pressure on the brush, and then it means I get a much sharper edge where I want it. So you see, I'm not pressing it all the way down. I'm just doing it very, very gently, resting my wrist on the paper. And then I can fill that in. It just needs a little bit more water there, I think. There we go. Okay. Now, what I need to do is frame the eye. So again, a bit of water into that black, but not too much. And then I'm going to draw a line along the edge. I'm resting my wrist on the paper. Okay. I'm going to make these bottom bits a little bit heavier. And then I'm drawing a line around the edge here. Again, making that a little bit heavier. So that is your eye, and you can see, this is your cat's eye. You can see that it's a bit better to have that heavy black line on it, like cats and lions and tigers have. And instead of it just being a single colour green eye, it looks much more dramatic with some light and dark bits in it, doesn't it?